the administration changes every 4 years.
Policies change.
And somehow we can float through all of it.
Yeah.
We continue to live good lives. We continue to be nice to each other. I mean, imagine if everybody did that.
Let's be a little more selfless. Let's not be selfish.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Navigating. Here at Navigating, we explore how people from all walks of life are finding their way through today's complex and changing world. And one thing that continues to change rapidly is how we listen to music and watch artists perform. So I'm really happy to welcome Chuy Gomez as my guest. Chuy's not only a radio and television DJ who has survived decades of change in the industry, but he's a community activist and a goodwill ambassador. And honestly, he's a hero to many, kids and adults. Welcome, Chuy.
Thank you for having me.
And you're so busy. You're a busy guy.
I try to get around a little bit of here, a little bit of there. I got 2 kids of my own. Well, I got 3 kids, but 2 little ones that are in high school. So
And busy with work. So
tons of work.
So that's really the question. How did you get so busy? And that launches into your whole life story, doesn't it?
Well, I just, there's a lot of demands and requests for appearances and stuff that I do on a regular basis. So it just kind of culminates.
But it all built up. It all started from Little Chuy.
Little Chuy was
Let's start with Little Chuy.
Little Chuy loved music. Little Chuy was fascinated by music and radio, and at an early age, my mom used to have me requesting songs at a radio station, and I just fell in love with radio, the medium, and then I got a chance to meet a local DJ that I called often, and
you kept hearing this little guy call.
Yeah, this little guy is bothering me. What's he want to hear now? Oh, my mom wants to hear, and I'd call him, and
so cute.
Yeah.
So then you went to the radio station?
I visited the radio station, and he gave me some 45s and let me sit there and watch him work. And when I watched him work, it was like magic. It was like, at that time, they were still playing records. So he was queuing up the records, and he had cart machines that played sound bites, and he did live commercial breaks, and just the lighting of the phones and the lighting of, the cue marks, and it was just
so much action.
Magic. Much happening in one little room.
Like being in a spaceship or something.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. So then what happened? How did you end up doing this yourself?
Slowly but surely, I bought 45s as a kid, went to the record store, bought 45s, got 45s. I had tons of music, albums. And then I guess the next progression would have been to DJ. So I started sort of watching mobile DJs do what they
parties,
do.
Party DJ?
Yeah, so for a 50th birthday, a 21st birthday, a quinceañera, they need a DJ, and I started DJing. Well, I started DJing, started doing parties, and a friend of mine, Tony Silva, was neighbors with Marcos Gutierrez, who was the really hot DJ at the time.
I knew Marcos Gutierrez's show. Yeah, I used to listen to him all the time.
Great guy.
KSOL.
Yeah, KSOL, KSFX. He was on TV. And so he was a guest at Tony Silva's sister's quinceañera. And he heard me on the mic doing my announcements. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, hey, wow, this kid is really doing the Spanglish thing.
Who's this kid?
And so he invited me to hang out with him. And that's kind of where it really got the ball rolling, working and hanging out.
Like a mentor.
KSOL, yes, very much so. A mentor, a guide, an inspiration.
Yeah. Really good guy. I used to love his show.
Super nice guy.
Yeah. So you trained kind of with him, or you started hanging out at KSOL?
Yeah, I started training there, but also at the same time I was taking classes, broadcasting courses at CSM. So it kind of went hand in hand. I had some really nice professors.
CSM, some people won't know.
College of San Mateo, up in the hill. I had Clifford Brown Jr. was one of my instructors.
Oh yeah,
Dan Odom and
Clifford Brown, jazz.
Yeah, his daddy was the jazz musician.
Yeah, he was on K-Jazz as a DJ, wasn't he? And Brown's around. Yeah. I used to remember that.
Hey, see, so yes. So Clifford Brown Jr. was there, and he was one of my instructors, very soft-spoken. Clifford Brown Jr. Amazing guy.
Yeah.
And so that was one of my instructors, and then Marcos was over there on the other side guiding me, and then there was like the likes of Barry Pope and Doug Lee that worked in radio, and those were guys that I was around and super active in the community. Like me and Barry Pope would be out on the vans and we'd go into McDonald's and he'd work his magic and we walk out with a free meal because we were the guys on the radio. And I was like, wow, look at that.
That's the thing about radio. And I know you've experienced this a lot. People really feel they know you.
They do.
You are like their friend or their uncle or something.
Just that. It's so funny because you're in their lives on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
I'm with you when you're in your car.
Yeah.
I'm with you when breaking news happens.
Yeah.
I'm with you to tell you something that's sad, something that's happy. I could turn your day around by a song I played.
Yeah.
And so, people feel connected with you. And next thing you know, I'm their uncle. Big Unk.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. So then where did it go from there?
From there, at KSOL, I started as an intern, started working there. And then I got an overnight shift. And from an overnight shift.
That's what they start with, right?
Right, of course.
If you're really serious, you're going to spend the night here doing this.
You'll be here all night and you'll be doing the overnight shift. And I personally, I'm a nocturnal, so I love being up at night. So for me,
works great for you then.
Magic.
Yeah.
And so I was working nights, and then KSOL was transitioning from KSOL to Wild 107. It was in this transition period. Right. So we switched over, and then we had a guy named Mancow come to work for us in that time. And Mancow heard me working in the overnight shift and said, how would you like to be my goodwill ambassador on the streets?
Oh, and he called you that too. Yeah.
He says, you're going to be my goodwill ambassador. People like you. You're going to be the guy in the van, and I'm going to throw it to you, and we're going to do silly stuff, and we're going to do some good stuff, and you're going to be my guy. I'm like, okay. So I still did my overnight shifts, and I worked in the mornings with him, and then I worked the weekend shifts. But in the mornings, I got a lot of attention because Mancow was kind of a big deal. And I was the guy on the streets. I did everything from, giving out money on 6th Street.
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah. So
Wild
107 was definitely wild.
107, watch for our van. Look for our van. We got the cash.
We got the cash. We got the stickers. Come on by, see Chuy. And so I'd go out there, and there was one time where I taped a bunch of money to my body, and I'd have a crowd of 20 people. In the next 2 minutes, I'm going to have you guys, whoever can pull the most money off me wins. And so they pull money off my body.
No injuries.
No injuries. The only injury there was one time where Mancow said, I was the stunt guy. This was before Jackass was popular. So we did a bunch of craziness. So he had me jump in a rubber garbage can, and they rolled me down the front steps of the City Hall on Van Ness.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I was in a garbage can with a helmet on, but obviously no protection. And so I hurt my back.
So ow. Those are stairs. That's not a hill.
Yes, those are pretty steep.
Oh, my goodness.
And so they rolled me down the stairs in a garbage can. And, we did silly stuff. We did some really proactive stuff. And it was just a fun time.
When did you do the bridge? I know about the bridge.
The bridge? Oh, that incident happened around 92.
Shall we talk about the bridge?
We can talk about the bridge. So in 92, President Clinton had stopped air traffic.
And LAX, right?
LAX. Just to get a haircut.
He needed his haircut.
Yeah, he needed a haircut. So let's stop traffic and let's get a haircut. So Mancow takes it upon himself and he says, well, since our president was able to stop air traffic, I think our very own Chuy Gomez should stop traffic on the bridge and get a haircut. And I said, sure.
Why not?
At that time, I hadn't been commuting, so I didn't realize how
much traffic
congestion there was.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of traffic in the mornings. And so normally I travel from South San Francisco to San Francisco to go to work. Not a lot of traffic. But when we did the stunt, I didn't take that into consideration. I just said, sure, let's do it.
Like during commute, right?
Right, 8 a.m. Oh. So we get out there and we stop traffic.
Pissed.
All 5 lanes of the Bay Bridge. It started off with 2 vans. It was my van and the station van. And then we stopped at Treasure Island, waited for our cue. As we're standing there, a listener pulls up, hey, what are you guys doing? I see the van. Oh, we're about to go stop traffic on the bridge. Can I come with?
Oh, of course.
Sure, come on.
It looks like fun, you guys.
The more the merrier.
When do we get out of our cars on the bridge and walk around and do stuff?
We're going to get a haircut. Good. Come on. Okay, cool. I'll follow you guys. So now there's 3 cars on the bridge. Well, there you go. We stop traffic on the bridge. 3 cars. A big semi-truck tries to go around us.
Ooh.
Can't get around us. We're not moving. We're out walking on the bridge, getting a haircut. He jams the 5th lane up.
At what point did you look and say, what What am I doing?
When you hear the helicopters.
Oh.
People are honking at us. You know, we got to go to work. We got to go to the airport. We got to do something.
Gosh.
We're stopping traffic. I'm being silly. I don't think about it. Then I start seeing the newscopters. Because at that time, there was a lot of newscopters that do traffic. I started seeing those. I was like, I think there's something serious going on here. So at that point, we get in our car. We take off. Next thing you know, there's CHP looking for us at the radio station. Get out of here. Don't talk to nobody. Get lost.
What did you do? Did you get away?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my
They didn't
God.
find me. They didn't.
And you were a young guy, so you probably weren't really weighing it all in the balance.
I wasn't. I was the goodwill ambassador. I thought we were doing something silly. Well, no. It was all over the news, USA Today, CNN. Everybody's talking about like, oh, this is serious. I didn't realize it was that serious.
But it didn't hurt your career at all, did it?
It didn't. It actually brought attention to Wild 107.
Yeah.
It kind of put Wild 107 on the map.
Yeah.
And so there was some repercussions, obviously, later that
like fines
and stuff that the station had to pay for, and and luckily there wasn't nothing that I had to come out of pocket. The station paid for it, their lawyers and everything. So there's that depositions and stuff that we did, and so
here comes this innocent guy saying, "I just was having fun.
I was just having fun. I'm following instructions. You know, they said you want to do it. I said sure. What am I to say?
My boss told me to.
My boss said do it. But the bosses didn't know. They thought, I mean, these guys do a lot of stuff on the radio. Some is theater of the mind.
Yeah.
And some isn't. My boss said, I thought it was theater of the mind. You guys are not doing another stunt, making people believe you're doing this, but you guys actually did it.
Actually did it.
That was trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So then that happened. And so that put us on the map. And then shortly after that, my girlfriend got pregnant. And so I said to my boss, I said, I need benefits.
Right, like health care and all that. Yeah.
If I can't get benefits, can I get some more money so I can get my own health care? And no, there's nothing here for you. Can't do it for you.
Oh.
That time KMEL comes knocking at my door.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. And they're like, we've been thinking about doing something. Can we have a conversation? I'm like, sure. So I had a conversation and they presented me with an offer. And I said, well, can I take this back? Because, you know, this is where I started. I really like it there.
Yeah.
Sure, take it. See what happens. And so I take it back and I go to to Wild. And I said, this is what KMEL's offering me. Can you match it? No. You can't match it?
So
No.
by matching it, you mean adding the benefits and things that you really...
I mean, either match the amount I'm going to get paid and I take care of my own stuff, or can you at least give me more money?
Right.
Can't do either or. And so then I said, well, I got to go. Almost in tears. I'm like,
I bet.
I took the job, but
yeah,
it was awesome. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me. I went and did a night show. Me and a girl named Rosary started doing the night show at KMEL. And then...
That was a great long show.
You
20
were there years.
20 years
at KMEL.
Yeah.
I did the night show, then I went and did the afternoon show. Then later on, I did mornings for 10 years at KMEL. And so it was a great run.
And what was the playlist like there? I can't remember.
It was hip hop and R&B. I mean, we played, Biggie, Tupac, SWV, Mary J. Blige.
Those were the days.
Yeah,
huh?
just get stuck.
I woke up with the Mary J. Blige song in my head today. Happy. Just there's always music playing. I never know what it's going to be. It could be something totally weird. But this morning it was Mary J. I was like, oh, that's great.
Right?
Yeah.
Just put you in the mood, and that's what music does for you.
Yeah.
Put you in the mood, and So I was at KMEL, but at the same, almost simultaneously, around '92 when I was doing the traffic stuff, I had a friend named Andy Kawanami who was a San Jose State student. And he was interning at CMC, the California Music Channel.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even talked about them yet.
So, and I just want to bring that up because they were kind of ran concurrently, and that's kind of also will put another dimension to Chuy Gomez. Yeah, because I was on the radio, and radio, you don't really, you feel like you know the person. But you try to picture them. You paint your own picture.
And sometimes when you see a picture of them, you're like, oh my God, I had no idea he looked like that.
Is that what they look like?
Yeah.
And so that's funny because, when I listened to Doug Lee early on as a youth, and before I got a chance to meet him, I never knew that Doug Lee was an Asian man.
You didn't know that was
No, but I mean, it's Doug Lee. Or even Dave Padilla.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Padilla was Latino. But when I heard him say his name on the air, it didn't sound like Padilla to me. It sounded like Dave Padilla. And I didn't connect the two.
Yeah.
Then I met him. I'm like, oh, Dave Padilla.
Padilla.
Oh,
why didn't you say
okay.
so?
Little me didn't know.
Uh-huh.
And so I met these people, and you kind of paint your own picture.
Yeah.
But me being on TV added another dimension, because now people that saw me on TV and heard me on the radio
So
knew who I was.
So CMC is California Music Channel for people who don't know.
Right.
And you started when with California?
About 92, 93.
Yeah.
About almost simultaneously.
And they've been going since around the same time that MTV was first
right. At
founded.
probably around almost exactly. Yes.
82, 83.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're probably one of the 3 longest running video shows in America.
Yeah.
It was us, and there's another channel out of New York, Music something, with Ralph McDaniels, and then there's MTV, and we're probably the 3rd oldest music channel.
And it's still going.
Still going.
It's online now.
It's online. It's on cmctv.com.
Yeah.
And but back in the day, we were on channel 8, which was also UHF channel 26.
Oh, right, 26. Yeah,
but it was cable 8 later. When there was cable, we were able to get on channel 8.
Yeah.
But when you were on UHF, you didn't need cable. So that's what made us super popular.
Right. Right. You use an antenna and
that's all you need.
Tune in that way.
Yeah. Because before, if you didn't have cable, which a lot of people didn't have cable,
because they couldn't afford it,
don't have access to MTV.
We still can't afford it.
Right. Cable's super expensive. And so, we were able to reach a lot of homes without them having to pay. And we played everything that MTV played. Plus, we played a lot of the local artists.
That's so great. Yeah.
So, while they were playing, Biggie and the major artists, Digital Underground, we were still playing Rappin' Forte. We were playing JT the Bigger Figure. We were also playing, at the time, we were still playing After 7, Blackstreet. So,
love those.
A lot of R&B.
That's really great. Yeah. And all the California and local people know those artists and are like, oh, God, don't get to see them so much on MTV.
You don't get a chance to see them at all.
At all on MTV.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. So you had so it's a video show. You're in a studio. You have a camera on you. You get to talk to the camera. You get to talk to the kids. You take calls too?
We did, but not live on the air. We took calls because we were live. So we were live from 3 to 5 for a while. We were normally an hour. There was a time where we went up to 2 hours. And so we were on 3 to 4, and then we went to 3 to 5 for probably about 2 years, 3 to 5, went back to an hour. People I tell people, we were latchkey kids.
Yeah.
They grew up.
Yeah, the kids came home and they turned on the TV because they had to, put their food in the microwave or whatever. And then they'd watch Uncle Chuy.
Uncle Chuy. There he is.
How old was Uncle Chuy then?
Uncle Chuy was probably 23, 24.
Oh, he's a young uncle.
So I'm a young uncle. But I was a very familiar face.
Yeah.
I was in their homes every afternoon. They'd run home to watch Chuy Gomez play their favorite video song. Yeah. And then they hear me on the radio on the way to school with grandma or...
Because you had Live 105 in the morning.
I had KMEL.
Oh, sorry, KMEL. Yeah. Okay, KMEL that's right. You'd gone to there. KMEL, and then...
Afternoons.
That's a lot of work for young Chuy.
Yeah. I've always had a lot on my plate.
Well, there's a question before we go on with the career arc. Where do you think you get this work ethic from?
Oh, my parents have always worked.
Both
my parents.
People who work, yeah.
Yeah. My dad worked at Best Foods Mayonnaise down on Daharo down there for a long time.
In Potrero Hill area, yeah.
So we lived in Potrero Hill. We lived right on 16th and Utah, across from the UPS building.
Oh, I know it well, yeah.
Yeah, right by El Parada.
Yeah.
And so we lived there like practically till I was about in 8th grade. And then we moved to South San Francisco. So my parents worked. My mom worked at a little flower shop that was on 6th and I think Harrison or 6th and Bryant. She worked there for a long time. Then she worked at the produce market out in South San Francisco.
Love that produce market. Yeah.
So
they were working all the time. And it sounds like the way that work affects us. If we're happy, we keep working and we work and love it. So your parents must have loved what they were doing too.
They loved what they were doing, but also provided us an opportunity to kind of step up. because we
Go
lived
to
in San
college
Francisco.
and that
We
kind of
were able to
thing.
go to college, but we also were able to buy a home,
Oh,
which,
yeah.
at that time you had to rob Peter to pay Paul
Yeah.
and take a loan from Uncle Loretto to
To get your
make the
down
down
payment.
payments and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, I mean, so all this stuff kind of built up, and we were able to move to South San Francisco and get away from the city and be closer to my mom's job and
Yeah.
just that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But it was inspiring in some way
Very
too.
much so.
And you also, it kind of gets into you. It gets into your cells that every day mom and dad are getting up and doing stuff, and they're not miserable. They're
No.
okay with it.
No.
They like it.
They're providing, and
They're providing.
they're
They
giving
like
us
it.
everything we need.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that got you going in that
Mhm.
same way, so that you obviously love your work, don't you?
I love it. I mean, I tell my kids, because my kids still get a kick out of it. I said, it's one of them double-edged swords.
Yeah.
Like we'll be sitting at Chili's and somebody say, "Hey, Chewy, Dad, do you know him?" I said, "No." "You don't know him? How are they excited to you?" I said, "Because they probably watch me on TV. They probably heard me on the radio.
Yeah, yeah,
They feel
yeah.
like they know me." It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, there goes Chewy. Hi, Chewy." And they're like, so, sometimes, like I said, it's a double-edged sword in the sense that, you kind of want some privacy.
Yeah, what do the kids think of this?
They think it's hilarious.
How old are the kids?
14 and 16.
Oh, of course they think
And
it's
so for
hilarious.
them, their teachers really know who I am. Their classmates have no idea who Dad is.
Yeah.
But their teachers and counselors,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's your dad? We grew up on your dad." "Dad, you don't understand. Somebody else discovered that you're my dad today."
Oh my God. Well, that's so great, but they're probably proud of you too.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, that's really great. Well, so back to your career, because then you kept going. What happened then with KMEL? Because I know
Well,
KMEL
KMEL,
changed
I
at
did
one
my
point.
20 years, and
Yeah.
then at some point they decided to make a change.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a big deal for those of us who were listening.
Right, because I've been
Yeah.
in your ears for
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, and that kind of music, that genre of
Mhm.
music. And what did they change to? I don't remember because I turned them off.
Well, the music didn't change so much. It was just the changing of the guards. They kind of took me out and replaced me, and I just had to find somewhere else.
They
I
didn't
said, "This is
change
what I
the
love."
music, huh? Oh,
No,
for
they
some
didn't
reason I
change the
was
music. They
remembering
just
it
changed
like that.
the players.
And what was the reason for removing the senior guards?
Well, what they always say, we're going in a different direction, which there was no new direction. We just changed. I think I always say to people, I say that I think that we were making too much money and they had to
Oh,
cut
see,
salaries,
this happens a lot.
which
Look at
happens a lot.
the whole.
Some will argue that no,
Yeah.
your ratings were bad. I'm like, yeah, they were so bad that you kept doing everything I was doing.
Yeah, your ratings were bad. I can't imagine that.
Your ratings were bad. You weren't doing well, so we had to switch it up for you.
To someone else who was going to get bad ratings, worse ratings.
Right? So,
oh God.
I'm like, whatever. So then I'm without a job, but I still got CMC, so I continue to do CMC. Now I start picking up more DJing gigs because I put that to the side while I was on the radio.
Mhm.
I didn't do as many as I've been asked to do.
Yeah.
And so now I got free time. So all I'm doing is CMC, and then I'm doing weddings on the weekends, and I'm doing parties. And
That's what you're doing now.
Which I still do. I don't do that on such a regular basis. Now I got a full plate with work. But like I'm emceeing a wedding this weekend.
Mhm.
No, so that allowed me to go and start DJing and doing more community work that I was already doing. Allowed me to do that. And then this old friends of mine were launching a new radio station called Hot 105.
Oh yeah.
And they said, we want to go with Chewy. He's a familiar face, a familiar voice, and we want to launch a new station. So we launched Hot 105. And that was an experience.
Is that an FM?
It was FM, 105.7.
And 105.7, yeah.
And that was in San Francisco. And then we while we were working, they found us a new studio, built a whole brand new studio, part of Univision. And they moved all of us to San Jose. And so now I got to commute all the way to San Jose for work. And so I was there for almost 5 years. I was at Hot 105.7. And then they were launching another station. I just launched. They had been on the air for almost a year, which was Q 102. And they said, come on over. This is right up your alley because we're playing strictly 90s music stuff you played on KMEL that you made popular anyway. So we'd like to have you here. And so they let me go at Hot 105 so I could take this job at Q102. And I went to Q102.
Was that San Francisco or still San Jose?
No, now I'm back in San Francisco.
Oh, good. Not so
now
big
I'm
of a
back in San
commute.
Francisco, easier commute.
Yeah.
And the music was just right in the pocket. It's everything I played in the 90s. So it's nothing unfamiliar.
You felt home. Home sweet home with that music.
And so that lasted about 2.5 years. And then they said, we're going to switch it up a little bit. And they started switching the music up a little bit and started playing a little more funk, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But like it didn't pan or work out right. So 2 years, almost 2 years later, that same station calls me back. It's 102 Jams now. And they've tightened up the programming and they've made the music 90s again.
Uh-huh.
And they said,
they know who to call.
Yeah, we're going to bring Chuy back. We need him back. So now I'm over there doing afternoons 3 to 7.
Is that current now?
Currently now I'm at 102 Jams.
Yeah. So, navigating, that the title of this podcast is about how we make it through. You've made a lot of changes with jobs. What has sustained you to feel comfortable doing that?
I think the consistency of Chuy Gomez has always been about the people.
Yeah.
Because I tell my kids all the time, it's like, you are the people.
Yeah.
Because without the people, there is no you. If people don't like you, you can't last as long as I have.
Right.
In the medium I'm in.
Right.
And so people like me and they trust me.
Yeah.
And so the whole time I've been on the radio, it's always been about being in the community, whether we're helping Casa de las Madres raise some money for battered women.
Yeah, you've done a lot of fundraising, haven't you?
We have for a lot of different organizations.
Casa de las Madres.
Casa de las Madres is one of them. We work with a young lady who helps farm workers.
Yeah.
We do some fundraising for them, whether it's for the holidays or just over the heat wave where they need stuff to stay hydrated. Getting some water and stuff for them.
Those things are so important. I was when we were talking earlier about mutual aid and how mutual aid really is in some ways taking the place of nonprofits, which nonprofits tend to get really bogged down in the bureaucracy, and how long does it take to get, 50 gallons of water? Well, we have to apply for it and we have to show where we're going to take it to and whatever. So some of us are just starting to give things away, buy stuff and give it away.
Yeah.
Because that's what people need now. So
you have to help each other because, we all live in the same communities and sometimes we don't know the hardships people are going through.
Right.
And so we take it upon ourselves to, whether it's adopting a family or just giving to the people that you see need it.
Yeah.
We did some stuff recently for Thanksgiving where we know a food hub that feeds the people.
Which one is it?
Mission Food Hub out of the Mission District.
Yeah.
With Roberto Hernandez and them. And a friend of mine, Papo, says, they normally give me about 30, 40 meals to give out. Do you want to give some away? And I said, sure. So we gave a few meals away on CMC and said, if you know somebody or you're somebody that needs a meal, we got these turkeys. It feeds 4 to 6 people. Comes with a pie and some vegetables and some stuff so you can get a Thanksgiving meal. We gave away several of those on TV. Yeah. And then we personally delivered them. So here comes Chuy knocking at your door.
That's the big present there.
Of course.
That's so nice.
And you're meeting the people and, you've done something for them, where now they don't have to stress over, I got to buy a turkey aside from whether I'm going to pay the PG&E bill or buy a turkey.
That's right. And that's the thing, you want to make your kids feel like they're part of this whole big tradition. That's what I always see every holiday season is like, go buy toys and give them to the firefighters who are going to give them to the kids so the kids have something or the meal, how important that is so the kids all they don't feel like they're left out or different or, that things are sad, so that's great. So that's what you just got through doing. Over
and
Thanksgiving.
I just did that just recently. And so that's kind of what has always kept me in good terms or in a good place with the people.
Yeah. So, but you never get scared when you lose a job. It doesn't sound like you get scared or nervous.
We all get scared because you never know how you're going to pay your mortgage, how you're going to take your kids and put them through school. and my kids are in private school, so that's not cheap. So
It never is.
you got to figure out how
But you want them to get a good education.
you
So
want to get them.
yeah,
You always want them to be better than you.
yeah,
You
yeah,
do better than your parents. You want your kids to do better than you,
yeah,
and so you want to put them in the best possible light,
yeah,
so I can do that. And so you kind of stress a little bit, but not super stressed. You don't want to see the kids seeing you
yeah.
stressed, but you make it happen. Like I said, like you go back to doing something else. There's always something
Something you can
that
fall
works.
back on when you have
Right,
that kind of a gift or a talent
right.
where you interact with people and people know you, then they invite you.
Hmm.
They want to invite you to the party,
Yeah,
you
and
know?
they want to support you. They
Yeah,
want to make sure that you're doing well. And so
yeah.
it's like oh, we were going to go with this other DJ, but we know you're out of work right now. We're going to go with you. I'm like,
Oh,
that
nice.
helps.
Yeah,
Yes,
because they've listened and they know. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, you're going to love this analogy. You're kind of like Mr. Rogers because, adults from multiple generations when he was still alive, Fred Rogers, they would stop him on the street and they'd get tears
Of
and they'd
course.
say, "Oh, I remember you from when I was 4 years old." So you've got probably at least a couple, 3 generations now.
Easily 3 to 4
Yeah,
generations that have grown up on Chuy Gomez.
yeah,
And that was always my thing. Is like, I want to be easy on the ears
yeah,
and very non-offensive
yeah.
because, I want you to be able to turn on the radio whether you're with grandma,
And
your
you're not
mom.
swearing.
I'm not swearing, and everything is a double
We
entendre.
haven't sworn once here,
No,
have
we
we?
haven't. We kept it to a minimum. And so that's always been, I've always wanted to be family friendly. And so
Yeah,
I didn't get involved in too much of the gossipy stuff
yeah.
because that tends to take you somewhere
See,
else.
we both need our water. That's another thing, though, is that not getting involved with the gossip or the kind of shadowy stuff that
Right.
happens.
Hmm.
It's really nice for you. It keeps things clean.
Yeah.
People trust you,
Hmm.
you know?
So it's a great place to be. It's just like, you just give people the vital information they need. I'm on the radio, and if San Rafael Bridge is shut down for an emergency because there was an accident or because they closed the lane, I'm gonna give you an alternate route to take.
Yeah, yeah,
Just help
yeah.
you out.
Then they trust you.
Yeah.
That's the thing, too. When people trust you, then they're going to call on you for all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, well, I know you're not a political person
Mhm.
specifically, but and I know that the current administration that's coming, or the new administration that's going to be coming in, has a lot of people frightened of, the what's they're talking about, the mass deportations and things like that. And do people reach out to you to talk about that as well, or what are people saying to you about that?
Um, Not specifically me, but people I know get asked a lot of information. Well, you
Where
know,
should we go? What do we
right?
do?
What do we do? I'm
Yeah,
here on a visa, on a
yeah.
working visa. Will that affect me? It's like I
Do you
don't
make
stress too much.
recommendations to people
I
like for
connect people. I
immigration
connect the
attorneys?
dots.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
See, that's
connect the
what I was
dots.
just thinking.
Right.
You're a networker for
Right. I'm not
people.
the guy to give you that answer, but I have some people. Here,
Yeah,
take down this
yeah,
number,
yeah,
call them, and
yeah.
let's get you right, and let's
Right.
get you settled down because there's no need to stress. I mean, this happens. Our administration changes every 4 years, and there's nothing really to stress about. Sure, some stuff is going to get tightened up, and there are going
Yeah,
to be some restrictions, but you're here for the right reason. Or if you're not here for the right reason, let's figure out how you can stay here
right,
because there's ways that you can, you know, go to certain channels
right,
to apply for certain assistance.
right. Well, that's actually a really good philosophy for, I think, a lot of people to hear, that the administration changes every 4 years,
It does.
and it can go.
Policies change.
Yeah, policies change, things change, and somehow we can float through all of it. I mean,
Hmm.
that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Is that we continue to live good lives. We continue to be nice to each other. I often look at what I call the spheres of influence, and you've got one that's right around you, and that's you and your family and your loved ones and your friends. And then there's the school, then there's the work, then there's the state, then there's the country, and then because we're a global society now, it's all of it. So where's the influence? Well, that's you giving away those turkey dinners,
Right.
and that's what we talked about a little bit earlier before we were recording, socks, how people need socks for,
Yes.
that's something for, the audience to hear too. They want coats. Yeah, they
Yeah.
want coats and they want to stay warm. They want sleeping bags, but everybody always requests socks. And
Yeah.
when I
Socks
first
is
heard that, I was like, wow.
huge. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the that's the sphere of influence that's close to us. That's where we can actually do something and feel like we're making a difference. And, they always say, think globally, but act locally. I mean, imagine if everybody did that.
Yeah.
What kind of a world we'd live in? It would be.
Let's be a little more selfless.
Yeah.
Let's not be selfish.
Yeah.
Let's think about your neighbor.
Yeah.
Because we all got to live together. And like I said, you don't know what somebody's hardship are from day to day.
Yeah.
So if there's any way you can help somebody, I would say do that.
Yeah.
And you'll feel better about yourself too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really makes a difference if you stop clinging to things, and you just kind of let them go.
Can't take them with you.
My mother always tells me
you can't take them with you.
My mother is 110 years old, by the way. She would love you.
Amazing.
She would love you.
Yeah.
I'll tell her. She's coming over later this week. Her caregiver's bringing her. But there was a play called You Can't Take It With You. And she gave me the video, the VHS for it not long ago. And it's so funny because you can't, you try hoarding. This is mine. This is my, and then you leave and then it's a level playing field. You don't have any of that stuff anymore, So, well, what's your plan for what's next for you, for helping people, for music, for?
It's always been a dream of mine to be a voice for an animated caricature.
Oh, really?
That's something I've always wanted to pursue. So at some point, somewhere, somehow, I'm going to connect that dot.
Oh, wow.
I want to be the voice of some cartoon somewhere.
Are you looking for where to connect the dots now?
Not because I got so much stuff I'm doing with right now. But if the right thing pops up, I'm ready for it. But I mean, that's kind of really, because those last forever. Cartoons are forever.
Yeah,
so I kind of want to be the voice of a cartoon or of a character.
Let's put that out to the universe, okay?
You heard me?
This is what Chuy wants next.
It's what I need in my life at this point.
Yeah. But, and that makes me think about how open you are to letting life flow through you in a way. You know what I mean?
You have to.
A lot of people
you have no
don't.
Control of life.
I mean, you say that, but a lot of people don't. They push the river, and it doesn't.
I think it just depends on how you were brought up or how you want to drive yourself to certain things. And I just let life exist.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like I say, you can't control life, especially when you're not dictating.
Yeah.
I'm not self-serving. I don't have my own money.
Yeah.
I don't have a trust fund, know. So I gotta work for mine.
Yeah.
But I think work is always there if you're willing to work for it. Some people don't work and want it to come.
Yeah.
And that's where you get stuck.
Well, it's really interesting because people miss a lot of cues. Do you know what I mean about cues? Like things that, like the phone call or the person who shakes your hand and says, "I'd like to meet you." A lot of people miss that. They're looking the other way, or they don't see the importance of it or the value of what's happening right in front of their faces right then. And it sounds like you've always been just like open and waiting.
I am. And you said it right there. That's funny. I tell people that all the time because you're going to encounter doors that open for you.
Yeah.
And it's what you do when you walk through those doors.
Yeah.
Where you really got to show and shine. And because you never know what's going to open up for you with a casual encounter.
Yeah.
And I tell my kids
it can be anything
all the time.
Yeah.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's Marcos Gutierrez coming to the quinceañera.
That's it.
Right? And saying, "Who's that kid?"
That's it.
You know? How about praying?
My mom does a lot. My praying.
Does she pray? Does she pray
for
you?
My mom prays for me all the time. My kids went to Catholic school. We go to church. I have my own relationship with God. And I tell my kids, yes, we can go to church, but I can talk to God right here, sit in this chair right here, right now.
Yeah.
I need him.
Yeah. I don't mean to bring up too much religion, but people talk about that. I'm really praying for a miracle, or I'm praying that I get the right job.
Right.
It doesn't sound like Chuy's been praying for those jobs. That
I have a lot of people in my corners.
And,
I got a lot of people in my corners.
Yeah.
People will fight for me.
Yeah.
I fight for myself, but a lot of people fight for me.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. And like I said, my mom prays for me. She's got me in her prayers every day. And I got my own personal relationship with God, and I love it. But no, I mean, I just take life as it is and as it comes.
That is such good advice for people. Thanks so much for being here today. This is just really, what a treat for you
For
to
me.
take for you to take the time. Really
Thank you.
just touches my heart. So thanks so much.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.